Hello. Good evening from Utah, somewhere in Utah. This is the Thursday edition, Living in Utah live question and answer. It's just an open forum. You're welcome to ask any kind of question you want. It's just an open platform. We can talk about anything that you want. There is no question that is a dumb question, really. I do get people from all over the world. So even if you have questions like how do you get a driver's license in the United States, or something about if you're from another country or something, you've got questions about the United States too, go ahead and shoot them. I will definitely, take them also. So great day here in Utah today. So about a 70-degree day. It's just beautiful. The weather, it has been a roller coaster ride, a weather front that I've never seen this weekend. Came across southern Utah, dumped a whole bunch. Then it hooked north, went through Colorado and up into Wyoming, and left record snowfalls. My brother lives in Aurora, Colorado, just outside of Denver. And they had snow drifts, and you could barely see the car. Wyoming was the same way. I-80 was closed, wasn't open for a couple of days. But northern Utah did not get hit. We had clear skies, sunny skies. You go outside, people were out working in their yards, everything. Very unique how that weather front went. Literally just hooked up. Crazy. So, but I love doing this channel. I love living in Utah. I think it's one of the greatest places to live. And I know some people have debated me on that, but I think when you throw everything in a bowl and, spit it out, it's a great place. I really enjoy living here. So, just shoot any questions you got. I've got a couple already. Have you sold any homes at 55 and up communities? Yes. All the time. I got one quick thing for answer that question too. The man who just joined us, David, last week we had a couple questions on mortgages. And so David is a mortgage rep, and I believe he's licensed actually in 2 states, Utah and California. I think he has active licenses in both. So David is also on here. And if you have any mortgage questions or anything related like that, shoot the question. David's going to try to give you an answer. I'll give you my best answer. And I might even throw some out there for David just to throw him a couple questions too. So he will join in too and answer some questions if I miss it, especially if it's mortgage related. So it's good to have him on. Didn't realize he was on last week. He was on at the end, and I noticed a comment at the very end, and I was like, wow, you could have, bailed me out here a little bit. So, okay, Joe, have you sold any homes 55 communities? Yes, I have. Not in Springhouse Village, but I have done over 55 communities. I will find you some recommendations on very similar communities. So, who pays more, closing costs, buyer or seller? It's about even. It's really about even. It varies very low, because when you get to the title company, as far as your title fees, now, of course, someone getting a loan will have more fees related to their loan. But as far as actual closing costs, both sides have to purchase title policies. And same with the doc fees and everything like that. It's about split evenly, really is. Hi, everyone. Hello, Noel. How are you doing? Hi, Joe. Mike, nice to have me on answering questions. In the market, by and large, buyers are paying closing costs just to stay competitive. Okay, so David's response there about buyers are paying closing costs just to stay competitive. That is true. And what David is referring to is, a couple years ago, sometimes as a buyer, you would you could put in your offer that you would like the seller to pay X amount of dollars towards closing costs. And that's the way I prefer always to write. I think it's a cleaner offer to say, will pay $5,000 toward closing costs, or $6,000 or $3,000. Some people like to just pay the closing costs. And that statement to me was kind of unfair, because the seller, it's kind of an unknown number to a seller, and sellers like to have, hard numbers to go by to get an idea of what they're actually going to be left with at the title company. But, a few years ago, you could ask a seller to pay a portion of your closing costs, or some, or all your closing costs, et cetera, et cetera. In this market right now, it's not being asked. Not at all. Not at all. Pretty much the buyers are paying their closing costs and the sellers are paying their closing costs. So the market has changed. So, and that is actually, so if we go back to that market, we go back to where that is happening, and you're looking at purchasing a home during times like that, one thing I always say to keep in mind as a buyer, especially if you really like the home, if you're asking for closing costs, some sellers, and I've been on this many, many times and had this conversation, many sellers, the first thing they say to me is, Mike, why am I paying the buyer's closing costs? That's their fees. I'm not an ATM. So when you're putting an offer in and you're asking for closing costs, just think that the seller might have some backlash and may not accept your offer because it might rub them the wrong way. And it's happened many times. And, as an agent for a seller, I just have to say, this is what their offer is. And it comes up a lot. You could have a home for $600,000 and you could offer $550 on it. But as soon as you put in there, the seller will pay $7,000 towards closing costs. They catch that right away. And they're just like, they're not my costs. That's the buyer's deal. And they don't even notice that they offered $50,000 below what the asking price was. But what sticks in their mind is that $7,000. So, there's a saying sometimes that sometimes we trip over a dollar to save a nickel or something like that. And that's very, very similar. So that's what happens in those type of markets. So if you got any mortgage questions or anything like that, shoot it. I know one question I'd have for you, Dave, if you want to post up, if you know what I had last week, where we at kind of like roughly on some mortgage rates right now? Conventional FHA, VA, kind of where it's going out, because I've noticed we've had a little bit of a bump in mortgage rates, by the way, just a small bump. And maybe by the end of this week, they've come down a little bit. We'll see what David's opinion on that is. And I also got, if we don't get too many questions, I do have some fun facts on Utah that I dug up a little bit. It's kind of interesting things that you may not have heard about Utah. So I've been in Utah since August, and my family finally arrives next week. What do you think is the one best thing I can show them in Salt Lake City area that will make them fall in love with Utah? Wow, great question. Wow. Well, I guess I would go further south. I would go to one of the 5 national parks, or 2 of the 5 national parks that we have in Utah. To me, that is absolutely amazing. It's one of the things I really enjoy in Utah is the national parks. But if I was bringing a family out here, a day in Park City is great. Even if you're a non-skier, you can go up there shopping, dining. It's an amazing part of the country. It's a really nice drive. You can get up into areas like Deer Valley. You can go out to Heber City. Some beautiful landscaping out there. It's a great day. I love my time in Park City. I was just there the other weekend. We decided to take the day and go skiing in Park City, and we stayed the night in Park City, and just an amazing day and an amazing night. So I love Park City too. Okay, David has responded. We're going past 3% right now. Seems like the trend will be upward for the foreseeable future, unfortunately. I'd recommend locking in a rate as soon as possible. Okay. So once again, if you have any questions on mortgages or whatever, just throw them up there. I've got David here. David is a mortgage licensed broker, so it's great to have help like that. So yeah, we're going past 3%, probably below 3%, and I'll agree with that. I think that below 3% times have passed us by, and I don't know if we will see that, anytime, maybe ever again. Who knows? I mean, 3% rates, by the way, is historically low. So in my lifetime, I've never seen 3% rates. This is the first time ever. And I've seen 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. My dad tells me when in the early 80s, it was 18% for a mortgage. So what's the typical closing cost on a $450,000 house? I'd say you're about $3,000 to $5,000 range, depending on what title company you use, somewhere around there. Park City with a question mark. Yeah, Park City, great place. I love Park City. Yeah, great shopping up there. There's some amazing places to eat up there, some award-winning chefs. Great. So if you like Italian food, and I can't think of the name of the place, but as soon as you get to Kimball Junction, when you get Kimball Junction, you make a right over on the left, that huge shopping development. There's an Italian place in there that was on diners, dives, and drive-ins. That's how I found the place. That place is amazing for Italian food. I know where it's at. I can't think of the name, but that's what I was thinking. Thanks. Oh, on Park City. Yeah, Park City's beautiful. It attracts people all over the world. It's a very big tourist destination, and some of the rich and famous all own homes in Deer Valley and Park City and gated communities and stuff. And they go to Park City and fall in love and purchase a home there. So the one big famous one is Michael Jordan had a home up there. I believe it was on the market a few months ago. I think it sold, but and I don't know if he purchased another home, but he had a home up there for quite a while. Not that I know him personally or anything like that, but where his home was located in a private community, I believe they have 3 or 4 golf courses in that private community. They have an equestrian park. They have lots in there. My guess would be that's one of the things that attracted him, was being a gated community with all the golf courses and the privacy. So if I had to put a bet on it, that feature right there probably attracted him quite a bit to that particular development. So some fun facts as we find out about Utah. So you can actually be in 4 states at the same time. So Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, and Utah all border each other. You can actually physically have your body in 4 states at one time. So it is possible. It's the only place in the United States where you can do that. That's a real fun thing for kids too. If you're ever down that area, if you ever go down the Grand Canyon area or a whole Four Corners area, and you have kids, take them to that area, and you can be in 4 states at once, and kids love that. So, did you know that Salt Lake City has more plastic surgeons per capita than any other city in the United States? So we have more. I haven't used any of them. Maybe I should. So the state of Utah could fit inside California 2 times. Twice we could fit inside California. But we could only fit half of Utah into Virginia. And I actually was shocked. The California one I was not shocked about, but the Virginia one I was. I thought Virginia was a little bit bigger than that. If I remember right, we're approximately 350 miles north to south, and somewhere around about 270, 280 east to west. So Hill Air Force Base, a military base in Layton, Utah, is the largest employer in the state of Utah. So another fun fact here. So we have more people in the state of Utah that are married than any other state in the United States. And Utah couples marry at a younger age than any other state. So the median age for the first marriage in Utah is 26.2 for grooms and 24.1 for brides. The average in the United States is 29.1 for grooms and 27.1 for brides. So about a 3-year difference on both of those. And I was not shocked about that. Being a family state, family is very important in Utah. Yeah, I'm not shocked at all with that number. One thing I was shocked about is Utah's divorce rate is slightly higher than the U.S. average. So when it comes to population, and I just heard this actually a few weeks ago when they were talking about the vaccine rollout with the numbers, 31% of our population in the state of Utah is under the age of 18. We have one of the youngest populations in the United States. And that also is one of the reasons that businesses have moved, especially to northern Utah, is for the labor pool. We have a lot of younger workers, and a lot of companies come here for the talent level. So Kanab, Utah, as we were talking about Park City, I'll give you another fact. Kanab, Utah, they call it Little Hollywood. There's been over 100 movies or TV series that have been filmed in that location since 1924. Some of the famous shows and movies was Stagecoach, The Lone Ranger, Gunsmoke, Planet of the Apes, and The Outlaw Josie Wells. It's beautiful country up there, Heber City. So we're actually possibly getting a Little Hollywood moving into Ogden, Utah. I don't know what the latest is on it, but they applied for planning permission. They bought to the west of Ogden. They bought or have under contract, I think it's about a 50-acre parcel, and they would like to put full recording studios and everything out there. So I assume to make TV shows and to make, TV shows and like movies. Okay, then another question here. Check out Antelope Island State Park just north of Salt Lake City. City Creek Mall is a nice place to shop in downtown Salt Lake. Yes, yeah, great recommendations. Yeah, Antelope Island, beautiful place to go. Lots to do out there. And City Creek Mall, yes, another great place. Another great place. So. And if you have younger kids, Lagoon, or maybe younger kids, teenagers that enjoy Lagoon, I believe Lagoon, if they don't open this weekend, they're opening next weekend. It's sometime here in March. Lagoon has announced that they will be opening. And speaking of Lagoon, that's another trivia. It's the oldest operating amusement park in the American West. And the roller coaster named the Old Woody is the third oldest in the nation. So yeah, Lagoon's been around quite a while. It attracts people from all kinds of states: Nevada, Idaho, Wyoming, lots and lots. They were a little bit of controversy last year with Lagoon. They were limiting the amount of people in the park, and someone took video and photos and said they weren't abiding by the COVID rules, et cetera. And so there was a little bit of trouble. But I think you limit the amount of people that come in the park, but there are certain rides that are very popular. So just because you reduce the amount of people coming in the park doesn't mean you reduce some of the lines for some of the popular rides. I think that's where they got caught out a little bit. Not a whole lot they can really do about that. Some rides are more popular than other rides. So I personally haven't been to the lagoon in a few years, but they were working on a new ride. I'm not too sure if that's going to be popping up today. I just went by there today, so did not get to enjoy the beautiful weather today. I went to a conference in Salt Lake City today, and I was going to bail at lunchtime because I was working on my mountain bike yesterday. I was going to bail at lunchtime, and then I ran into a friend of mine I haven't seen in a long time. He's a contractor, so he said, after the classes at 3:00, let's go for some coffee and catch up. It's like, bummer. So it was good, but I was really looking forward to spend the afternoon on the mountain bike. So yes, did not get to. I was looking outside constantly, and as a matter of fact, I was going to bail at lunchtime. It was too nice out to stay all day, but I ended up staying the whole day, and it was a good time. But the weather here today, it was absolutely fantastic. So, any mortgage questions this evening? We will ask David to come back sometime here in the future to answer some more of them. I probably have some more. Yeah, you went snowmobiling in Juab County today. Yeah, this time of year you can enjoy the winter sports and you can enjoy the summer sports, hiking, mountain biking, but also ski resorts are still going, snowmobiling. It's endless. And if you're a snowmobiler, and you can always go to Idaho because their snow lasts a little bit longer up in Idaho. You go to a place like Island Park and you can continue snowmobiling for a little bit longer. Yeah, snowmobiling is good fun. So I don't have any machines down here anymore. My up on the farm of my father-in-law's, I leave them stored up there because I love riding snowmobile up by Island Park. And so we just leave them on the farm now. I don't have to keep trailering them back and forth to my house. But yeah, I love the snowmobiles. Yep. Of course, mine's a little old. Mine's, wow, from the 90s. But I haven't upgraded it. It's used very little, and it's like brand new. It stays in the shop all the time. It's covered. Every time you take the cover off, it's like brand new. So it's kind of like owning a Harley. It's well taken care of. And so love those facts, Mike. Thank you, David. I know I'll come up with another mortgage question because I had a mortgage question last week. I'm trying to think on that was presented. I can't think of it at the moment. But David, I do have a question for you, though, David. When we're talking about mortgage rates, et cetera, I'd like to know your opinion. As a country, we're pumping a lot of money into the economy, 1.9 trillion right now. I believe they have about a $3 trillion infrastructure program they want to release. The Trump administration also, and it's not just the Biden administration, but Trump administration last year dumped a lot of money into the economy. Sometimes as a country, when we print a lot of money, it creates inflation. And with inflation, in my opinion, you typically see rates increase. So I'd love to know, David, on your opinion, am I right or am I wrong? And, if I am right, do you feel yourself that, because I believe inflation is just around the corner, do you believe it's going to be inflation? And do you also feel that possibly the mortgage rates would go up with inflation rising? That's my question for David. Put him on the spot. But yeah, that's something historically that has happened. When you're printing a lot of money, inflation comes along and rates go up for everything, not just mortgages, but car loans, credit cards, everything typically rises. And that's another conversation too, that we've got the mortgage forbearance going on right now, and a couple other things. The rent moratorium which also can, both those factors can affect the market a little bit. But I personally think that the mortgage forbearance, my opinion is, I think it runs out like the end of September. I think you're going to see the government write a new bill and extend that, because I really worry about like our neighboring state of Nevada, especially Southern Nevada. Las Vegas has one of the highest unemployment rates in the country. How many of those people cannot pay their mortgage? And it is typically a Democratic state. And I think that there might be some foreclosures down there, at least in that state. So I think the government will to ease those foreclosures, may extend that mortgage forbearance. That's my guessing. So, and you have a senator there, Jackie Rosen. I really like the lady. She's a Democrat Senate. She really sticks up for small business. I really, really like the lady. Sticks up for small business and sticks up for the people of Nevada. So I could see her petitioning very hard if foreclosures start to come about, trying to extend that mortgage forbearance. Okay, David has given me an answer. I do believe inflation will continue to rise. The indicators do seem to reflect that continue to rise. The new administration seems to be okay with higher spending, which will continue the trend further. Yes. Yep. Great. Yeah. That's my one fear, is as you're creating a lot of money, it will be the inflation, which will typically can affect rates. So we'll see what happens as time goes by. Like I say, sometimes you can, as rates go up, the market can absorb it. Like right now, we're probably about 3.25. It hasn't slowed the market at all. So, we were like 2.75, 3.25. I think buyers that are still in the market are still in the market. So it hasn't affected a whole lot at the moment. So Mr. Z says, gonna check out the gun show in Layton Saturday morning. Yes. Rocky Mountain Gun Show is what it's called. They do hold them. They actually hold them over the West. I was in Vegas one time and I ran across a sign and they were holding the Rocky Mountain Gun Show down there in Vegas. So if you are a gun owner so right now, gun owners are having a hard time finding guns and ammunition in the stores. And they are putting on their ad that they will have plenty of ammunition for sale. So if you're looking for ammunition for your particular gun or guns, you could check out the Rocky Mountain Gun Show in Layton. Their ad on the radio and everything like that says that they will have ammunition. Question from Joel: what's the typical commission rate paid by a buyer on a $450,000 house? Are you referring to realtor commissions? Like myself, if I was representing you on buying a house, your fee would be $0. The commission is paid by the selling agent's negotiation with the seller. So your cost to have a buyer's agent represent you, there would not be a cost. It would be paid through the seller, and that's how it works. So if that's the commission we're referring to, yes, you would not pay that there. You would just have on your $450,000 offer, you would have out of pocket, you would have whatever you have to put down with a mortgage company. So whether it's a 0% loan, a 3% loan, there's a bundle of different loan programs. You would have those fees and you would have your closing costs. And that's about it. Well, that's not it, because so when you do purchase a home, typically it's recommended that you get a home inspection. So you'd be responsible for the home inspection fee. And so that would also be a fee that you would have out of pocket. So that's why I usually say, if you are putting an offer, on a home, if you're going to do, so kind of, if it's a home at where you feel like, maybe I want it, maybe I don't want it, I'm not 100% sure. Well, if you pay a home inspector, say $450 to go out there after you put an offer gets accepted, and you decide, nah, we really just didn't like the layout of the home and we're going to pull out. Well, that $450 does not get refunded to you. So it's a fee that's paid. So, okay. Another question from Joe. How do you avoid PMI? I'm going to let David answer that. I'm going to throw my answer out, and it's been 20% down on the loan. So I do not believe there is another way out, but I'll let David, if David's got a response on that. You want to put at least 20% down on most loans. If you're using Utah Housing, they have an option to opt out of that. Okay, so yeah, so Utah Housing does have an option. I forgot about that, but yeah, otherwise 20% down. And if you do want to know more about Utah Housing, David can help you, and David's going to shoot his phone number right up here, and I will also remember when I go back, I will put it in the notes, but David would be glad to throw you his phone number. So if you wanted some more information about like Utah Housing loans, you're welcome to shoot him a call, and he'll definitely jump on the phone with you, and he'll talk to you for, as long as you probably want about it. So, but yeah, other than that would be, the 20% down. So, or you can email David also. So if you feel more comfortable emailing also. And that number also that he gave, if you prefer to text, that is textable, that number. So, Mr. Z, my friend is buying sod in Syracuse. I want to live somewhere where grass grows very well and green. I think anywhere in northern Utah, your grass can grow well and green. I've never had a problem, and I haven't seen anyone else have a problem. It's definitely, you got to use the right fertilizers and take care of your yard, and you'll have a green yard. I always do. One thing that I do, and a tip for you if you're ever a shopper at IFA, the IFA stores, if you're questioning about fertilizer, et cetera, they do a complete kit for the whole year. Winter, spring, summer, and fall fertilizer. It's already in bags, and you buy the whole kit, and then you put it during that particular time frame, and it's already formulated, et cetera. I've had very good success with the IFA kit. I love it. So I buy it all the time. So IFA stores, and they're throughout the whole valley. I'll be at the gun show as well, Mr. Z. Good. I haven't been to a Rocky Mountain gun show in a long time myself, but don't know if I'll be stopping by. But yeah, the Rocky Mountain gun shows are very, very popular, very popular. So if you want somewhere to go in Layton, and it's good to see, when I heard that on the radio, it's good to see things opening back up, shows and things like that, concerts and events. It's a great time, great time. So it's fascinating. It's great. So it's good to see like Rocky Mountain Gun Show. My guess is they will require masks. So be prepared. We still have a mask mandate until, I believe it's April the 10th is when Utah is talking about lifting that mask mandate. We are, as far as COVID goes, we are rocking and rolling. I think the governor just announced today that they are opening vaccines for all age groups starting, I believe, March the 24th. You can make an appointment, all age groups. So they feel they must be able to handle the people. So yeah, it's great. I think it's great news, especially when I saw on the national news where they're talking about these other strains and countries like, I believe France is having a really hard time. They're getting another wave of all these new cases, et cetera, et cetera. It's good news. Good news for Utah. So I had my first shot and I get my second shot on Monday. Mr. Z, okay, I'll wear a tie-dye shirt with a guitar on the front. Please say hello. Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go. Don't know. I think this weekend I've got to go to a relative's house and work on some sprinklers. So I've got to knock that out, and I got a packed day after that. So hopefully it's I get knocked out fairly quick. So, but we're getting into that time of year. So I have a tip for you too. If you are living in Utah and you have what we call secondary water, I believe they usually turn it on around April 15th. My recommendation is not to be the first one in the neighborhood to turn that valve on. So it comes through all kinds of channels from the mountains all the way down. Some of those channels are open channels. So throughout the winter months, the dirt and debris and animals and fish and whatever, it picks up all that as it's heading down, and they pressurize the system. And if you're one of the first ones who open your valve coming in, you do run a higher risk, I feel, of having sprinkler heads that block because it got dirt or mud, or your filter gets blocked, et cetera, et cetera. I always let all the neighbors turn theirs on, and then I will try my system. And usually around April the 15th, you don't really need any secondary water. We usually get enough rain throughout March, April, May that usually my sprinklers do not go. So save you a little bit of maintenance on those and on those sprinkler heads and everything like that from getting clogged. Great. Any more questions this evening before we wrap it up and call it a night? It's been a great night. It's been a great day in Utah. The weather's just fantastic. Well, I want to thank David for joining me here, bailing me out. He's left his contact information. If you have any kind of like mortgage questions or whatever, you're welcome to shoot me an email if you would like, but you're definitely welcome to shoot David anything and that you may have. Email, phone, text, whatever you would like, and he will answer those questions. So I had said earlier, David was licensed in 2 different states, I believe, California and Utah. He's currently living in California, and David is making the move to Utah here in a few more weeks. So he will be dedicating himself to loans and servicing people in the state of Utah. So welcome to Utah also. Okay, hope everybody has a good night. Take care, stay safe. Another video coming out hopefully this weekend.